article from BBC News. It's by John Sobel, and it's titled "The Young Doctors Being Asked to Play God." So essentially, it talks about Queens, New York, where it's considered the epicenter of the outbreak, where it has the most cases, and it's very telling. It is very telling about the situation. And sometimes the doctors they have to decide who gets a bed. They have to decide who gets ventilators. It's it's a sad situation. You know, some of the pictures are very it's tragic. You know, nobody wants to. People who go into these medical fields, they don't really expect people to be dying. You know. Anyway, so it goes and it talks about the neighbor in Elmhurst. In the initial stages of the outbreak, it was the worried well who would be it was well worried essentially who would be turning up in this poor neighborhood. Now everyone is sick, really sick. Half of the patients are undocumented and don't speak English. They work in restaurants and hotel chambermaids. They are not plugged in. The calls for social distancing have passed them by. Well, okay, so see the problem is like when you let people into the country, here's the thing. This is why you need a single focus, a single goal. Everybody who's in the country should have the ability to speak the common language, the common tongue. And these people are like so disgusting in these liberal cities. They expect the native population to change for the incoming population, which shouldn't even be coming here in the first place, but they're coming here for political ideology and for votes, and that's very sick. And my heart feels for these people, right? So what this article clearly doesn't mention, and I've looked through this article, that Elmhurst, it's 50% Asian, right? It's a 50% Asian neighborhood, and it's just quite troubling. Like just this entire article, while it's really well written, they kind of hide the most curious stuff. Like you should know the racial breakdown. You know, it's simple, and like the reason it has high coronavirus because it's a large Asian community. It's about 40-50% Asian. That's it. You know, but it's a really well written article, and you know some of the things on the ground are really heartbreaking. There are patients in the 30s and 40s with no pre-existing conditions. Equal, we had a 90-year-old man the other day who was brought in ER after he had fallen at home. He had a broken leg, but he also tested positive for CV, even though he was exhibiting no symptoms. It is confounding. It's a confounding virus. I mean, yeah. I mean, they just think the peak of the curve is still weeks away. That's wishful thinking. I hope it's weeks away. Also, like I said, when the weather warms up, we'll see. Some doctors are working from home, 12-hour shifts. I mean, I've been in the hospital. I know what it's like. These doctors are really overworked. And again, I think part of the problem is really the education system. It's full of nonsense. At a young age, kids should be given courses, medical courses, in grade school. Figure things out. You never know. There are a lot of kids who just aren't exposed. It has nothing to do with racial inequality. Expose kids to different fields. See what happens. And it's really telling. I know people aren't like I blame a lot of this on the education system. A lot of what's going on in the world is on the education system. It's so flippin' corrupt. Simple things like this. It's just I don't know. If you want more doctors in the world, start at a young age. At least educate kids. Let them know about medical stuff. It's okay. It's okay. I haven't seen it in the curriculum ever where a teacher is not able or given the ability to teach like medical stuff, at least in high school and before that. Maybe it does exist in specialized high schools, but in schools I've been, no, it's not even on the map. Instead we have to learn things about certain February history month, if you get my drift, or March history month. Those things should all be eliminated completely. Anyway, Elmhurst is the epicenter. Let me just read these stats for you. At least 47,500 people have been tested positive in New York City as a whole, but the outbreak has not spread evenly. Amherst and Corona have led New York in terms of confirmed cases, 831 and 937 respectively, as of March 31st. Again, because it's very, very Asian-centric areas that came from China. That's it. This article, it's not telling the complete truth, and that's why I consider it garbage. In Corona, the median household income is approximately 50K, up 48K, a marked a market drop from the city's median of about 60. Okay, 48K is actually decent. Like 60, probably the wealthy in Manhattan, and like people who live in Brooklyn Heights. Those are like wealthy areas. You see a lot of celebrities who try to live there, even places in Queens. But the point is, this is a slight devious article. It's not a poor neighborhood. Okay, I've been in Elmhurst. It's not a poor neighborhood. It's a working class neighborhood. So these working class neighborhoods are in Queens, the hardest hit borough according to New York Times data, with 616 confirmed cases for every 100,000 residents. Wealthier Manhattan and Brooklyn have accounted for 376 and 453 respectively per 100,000 residents. Look, again, article is not telling the 100% truth. It's because these areas have a high Asian population. Okay, that's it. Anyway, it's a really good article. I'll post it in the description. Um, yeah. There's nothing else to really add. It's well written, very long, well written though, but it's not telling the complete truth, giving people a full view of what's really happening and why it's happening. Again, this is why political correctness and identity politics need to end. If it didn't exist, people would have been safe. Okay, back in January, the borders would have been shut down, and all flights from China probably would have been shut down by then. But identity politics. Anyway, take care, guys. If you want to read, I'll post in the description. Be safe, share, save, subscribe, whatever. Bye.